Kiwi Publishing is a client of Micro Engagement, and they're a company they're a bunch of old school publishers who got a little tired of the publishing business. And if any of you are in publishing, you probably already know that some of the stats are a little depressing. 80% of books sold come from the top 5 retail outlets. The top 50 authors represent 70-something% of books sold. It's a choke point. It's unbelievable. They want to sell books in non-traditional markets. They see a gap that all Barnes and Noble and those people are too concentrated, and there's other ways to sell books. So they hired us in April, thank you, or May, and we worked with them to create an executive roundtable. And the idea is we brought together people from different disciplines to help them with their problem. The problem is, well, we want to sell non-traditional, but where? So we brought together publishing people. We brought together people from consumer packaged goods and people from a technical background that had sold, because that was a particular bent of the company, that had sold things online and were very experienced in doing that. And the other thing they wanted to do was identify places to sell books and then test in a channel marketing strategy. So what we did, I'm way ahead, we assembled this group, not the usual suspects. So the usual suspects would be hire a book consulting firm of people that have had a zillion years in publishing, and they would say, go to Walmart or go online. So what we wanted to do is not round up the usual suspects. We wanted to get fresh blood in there. And here's what they came up with. Includes book, the top idea. There were many others, but include books in a hotel room for business travelers along with TV, movies, and then make books. So when you check into the room, you have your remote, and you fire up your TV, and then you see that you can watch TV, or you can watch movies, or you can buy a book. When you order the book, it comes to your room, or is waiting for you at the front desk in a few hours, or worst case scenario, next morning. So that's the idea. Being tested right now, and in 3 months we have talked to and engaged Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Hilton, Marriott, Panera, Borders, Holiday Inn, and as a surprise, the unintended outcome was a lot of these people knew VCs, which was also another need of the company, in the publishing arena that were interested in their idea. So that was sort of like a side benefit. So 3 months. Doesn't quite keep up with the Madagascar example, but it's not too shabby for a very targeted engagement, which is, of course, where the name comes from. So the last case study is a decision market. And a decision market is a bet you place on the outcome of an idea or what's going to happen in the future. And a couple companies that do that are Tradesports.com, which is an Ireland incorporated company, because you can't do this in the United States. They place open bets on sporting events, and they've moved into socioeconomic things and the outcome of the Iraq wars out there, things like that. All in all, on sports, they are 65% accurate. So before the game starts, when the betting line, their betting line doesn't close like the Mirage does, but they are accurate 65% of the time as to the outcome of the game. They have about 10,000 enrolled people. The Iowa Electronic Markets is it's like a nonprofit that attempts to predict the outcome of political elections. Their success rate is something like 85%. If you want to find out who's going to win any election, I think it's down to the state level. But they've accurately predicted every presidential race since '82. And the Yahoo Buzz game we've already talked about, they try to guess what's the next big thing. And I don't have any data on them because they seem to want to play along. So the idea is that the market is set up as a pari-mutuel betting, and that is spelled right. You can check today. The idea is that the people get together, and the people who are right or made the accurate forecast, the winnings or the amount, imagine a stock market, the winning stock or best idea is divided amongst the winners. And that does a couple things. Psychologically, it gets a lot of people skin in the game, which is important. And there's been a lot of studies that compare and contrast decision markets that involve money and those that don't. And not surprisingly, the ones that don't do as well. And then the contract, so you have, and the example here is HP. You're opening a decision market to see how many printers you're going to sell. What's your sales volume next quarter? It's stratified. So you can say, we're going to sell between X, or this football game is going to be decided between 17 and 24. You know the spread, it's called the spread. So that's how these things are set up. So at HP, in 1996, they conducted a study of 30 managers from across various departments. The key word there is they weren't all sales and marketing. Were given $50 each. They're only allowed to trade at lunchtime and after work. And at the end of the quarter, the highest price contract, which meant the money gravitated to the highest price, or excuse me, the most popular outcome, what everyone thought would be the most likely outcome, sales price, was locked in as the group's suggestion. So that's deemed the market estimate, and the outcomes are that traditional sales estimates had a 13% average error, which is better than any place I've ever worked. And the decision market estimates had a 6% average error. So that's, and decision markets are used all the time to help crowdsourcing companies get an idea where they're going or try to predict the future. Merck uses one. Their own internal employees are incented to participate in the decision market as to whether or not a drug will pass FDA approval. Because that's a huge thing. You can put all this effort into making the drug. If it doesn't pass the FDA, it's all for naught. So it's very important to find that out. And then, of course, the famous DARPA experiment with the policy analysis market, which never happened. The idea was that you could predict terrorist events by having an open decision market. And people would make money based on their ability to accurately predict a future terrorist event, which sounds horrible, it's macabre, but if you can accurately predict printer sales, you might want to try your hand at that. So